Hello WWE Universe, as we're here to take a look. Welcome to the WWE Universe here, as we're here to look at the results for WWE Money in the Bank 2018. So, without further ado, let's get straight into it, as I say. So, we're obviously starting things off with the kickoff match, which is for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. The Bulgarian Brothers would take on Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson, and the Bulgarian Brothers are still on the roll. They are still victorious. They remain as the SmackDown Tag Champions, beating Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson as they continue their dominance as the top tag team on the SmackDown roster. And then we have, of course, the first of our pay-per-view matches, which is, of course, Daniel Bryan Big Cass, a rematch from the previous pay-per-view Payback, and of course Daniel Bryan once again beating Big Cass as for the second time on the second pay-per-view. Daniel Bryan still looking strong over Big Cass, so it looks as though Big Cass still hasn't been able to beat Daniel Bryan since he came back. And then we come to the next of our single matches, which is, of course, Bobby Lashley and Sami Zayn. This is Bobby Lashley's first singles pay-per-view match since he's returned, and he takes on Sami Zayn, and he manages to beat Sami Zayn as well, as Bobby Lashley continues to impress a lot of people since he has returned to WWE to look strong moving forward. So that is a big win for Bobby Lashley. Then we move on to the Intercontinental Championship match, where Seth Rollins would take on Eliza, who obviously is after the Intercontinental Championship, and Seth Rollins able to defeat him was basically able to defeat him and leaves still the Intercontinental Champion, as Seth Rollins continues his Intercontinental Championship reign at Money in the Bank. And then we have the first of the Money in the Bank matches, which is for the women's Money in the Bank, which would have Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks. We also have Ember Moon, Charlotte, Becky Lynch, Naomi, Lana, and of course Natalya, all competing for that briefcase. But unfortunately, though, Alexa Bliss would end up becoming the second ever woman to win the Money in the Bank ladder match, as she ends up winning the briefcase to secure herself a future Raw Women's Championship match anytime up to a year, or depending on any women's title match she was after, pretty much. But Alexa Bliss comes out victorious in the Money in the Bank ladder match. And then we would see Roman Reigns take on Jinder Mahal. This is Jinder Mahal's first singles pay-per-view match, being a member of Raw, and Roman Reigns comes out victorious and able to defeat Jinder Mahal, as Roman Reigns continues looking strong following his defeat from Brock Lesnar earlier in the year. A few months back, he's still looking strong over Jinder Mahal. And then we would see the SmackDown Women's Championship match, where Carmella would take on Asuka for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And this was where kind of the shocker came around, where we would see an unexpected return of Mr. Ellsworth. Yes, James Ellsworth decides to show up out of the blue, and because of that, and kind of distracting Asuka, it kind of led to Carmella beating Asuka and remaining SmackDown Women's Champion. So she is another competitor who has defeated Asuka this year. So fancy that, huh? Not only Charlotte Flair has beaten Asuka, but now Carmella has beaten Asuka as well, which is very interesting. So it looks as though Asuka's going to want to try and rebuild her winning streak, or in some ways, shape or form at some point. And then we would have the WWE Championship Last Man Standing match, where AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura, the final chapter of this rivalry, would finally culminate, basically come ahead, as we would see AJ Styles beat Shinsuke Nakamura to be the last man standing in this battle against Nakamura, who would throw all kinds of shots at AJ Styles, but AJ Styles was able to put down Shinsuke Nakamura to the point where he would retain the WWE Championship, and ending this rivalry between the two at Money in the Bank. And then we would come to Ronda Rousey's first singles pay-per-view match, which is for the Raw Women's Championship against Nia Jax, which you could say, I mean, Ronda Rousey did have kind of came very close to winning with her submission, but then but obviously she won by DQ. But at the same time, whilst Ronda Rousey had won by DQ and was trying to capitalize on the Raw Women's Championship, Alexa Bliss decides to come in, cash in on Nia Jax, and ends up regaining her Raw Women's Championship from her former best friend, who took her title away from her at WrestleMania and able to recapture it, which obviously Ronda Rousey probably is annoyed now that she couldn't get the Raw Women's Championship, but yet Alexa Bliss did. So Alexa Bliss once again, now pretty much a 5-time Women's Champion thanks to this successful cash-in during the event. And then we would come to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, which would determine who would win in the men's side of Money in the Bank. And of course, this led to Braun Strowman, who beated Bobby Roode, Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe, Rusev, Miz, and a few others to be able to overcome them and become pretty much the monster in the bank, as they describe it. But either way, he's now Mr. Money in the Bank as he manages to win the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, which means he'll pretty much guarantee him to get either the Universal title or the WWE Championship, depending on what Braun Strowman is hoping to go after, which we will hopefully learn more about in the weeks to come. So very like I said, very intriguing pay-per-view. The fact that we would finally see Alexa Bliss capturing her 5th women's title, but more importantly, Braun Strowman finally capturing his first Money in the Bank briefcase that would lead him to hopefully becoming the top champion at some point. Hopefully that is what's going to happen when Braun Strowman finally cashes in. Hopefully he'll time it right and he may get his hands on Brock if he times it right, or he might go for AJ Styles, depending on what Braun Strowman's hoping to achieve with this cash-in, which hopefully we'll learn more as the weeks go by, leading up to SummerSlam and so on. But either way, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next WWE Universes. We'll take a look at the NXT Takeover Chicago 2 that took place the night before Money in the Bank. So see you then.